Good morning class. Today we'll study kidney. So what is kidney? Kidney are the pair of excretory organs situated on the posterior abdominal wall, one on each side of the vertebral column behind the peritoneum. So they are situated on each side of the vertebral column and behind the peritoneum. They are retroperitoneal. Location: the kidney occupies the epigastric, hypochondriac, lumbar and umbilical region. So you can see it occupies epigastric, hypochondriac, lumbar and umbilical region. The right kidney is slightly lower than the left kidney probably because of the liver situated above it. So the function of the kidney is to excrete the waste products and maintain the pH of the blood. Size and shape: it is 11 centimeters long, 6 centimeters broad and 3 centimeters thick. It weighs about 150 grams in males and 135 grams in females. Then the external features. Now the external features are: it consists of two poles, two surfaces and two borders. So if you see the diagram of the kidney, it consists of two poles, the upper pole, the lower pole. Upper pole is rounded, lower pole is a little bit pointed. The medial border is concave, the lateral border is convex. The upper surface, that is the anterior surface, is irregular and the posterior surface is smooth. So you can see in the medial border there is a depression which is known as the hilum. This depression is known as the hilum. The hilum is the entrance within the kidney, with the entrance in the space within the kidney which is known as renal sinus. So renal hilum is the entrance to the space within the kidney which is known as renal sinus. It gives entry and exit to certain structures which gains entry inside the kidney and exits from the kidney. So these structures which are gaining entry and getting out of the kidney are arranged from anterior to posterior side. Inferior vena cava first, then the renal artery and then the pelvis. In front, the inferior vena cava, behind it the renal artery, and at the back is the renal pelvis. Then comes the relations of the kidney, how the kidney is related to other organs. So the relations which are common to both the kidneys, they are in the upper pole, in the medial border and in the posterior surface. The structures are same in both the kidneys, are related. The relation is same in both the kidneys. The upper pole is related to the suprarenal gland and the medial border, it is related to the suprarenal gland above the hilus and the pelvis below the hilus. Suprarenal gland above the hilus and the pelvis below the hilus. And the posterior relations are also same in both the kidneys. On the posterior side, these structures are there: the diaphragm, the medial and the lateral arcuate ligament, three muscles: transversus abdominis, psoas major, quadratus lumborum. Psoas major and quadratus lumborum, these are the muscles of the posterior abdominal wall. Some subcostal vessels. Subcostal vessels are the vessels below the last rib. Some nerves: iliohypogastric nerve, ilioinguinal nerve, are related to the posterior side of the kidney. So if we see the structure of the psoas major muscle, you can see psoas major muscle, it originates from the T12 to L4 vertebrae and inserts into the lesser trochanter of the femur. It lies posterior to the kidney. The quadratus lumborum also, it originates from the iliac crest and inserts on the lower border of the last rib, 12th rib, and it also lies posterior to the kidney. So these are the relations. The relations of the upper pole, medial border and the posterior surface are same on both the kidneys. As far as anterior relations, that is the anterior surface of the kidney is related to structures which are different on both the sides, different on the right side and different on the left side of the kidney. The right kidney is related to suprarenal gland, the second part of the duodenum, the liver, because liver is there on the right side, the hepatic flexure of the colon and the jejunum. The left kidney is related to the stomach. Stomach is on the left side. Spleen is also on the left side. Pancreas, splenic flexure of the colon and the jejunum. So it is related to the jejunum. These are the anterior relations of the kidney. Then if we see the coverings, the kidney is covered from within outside by some coverings, capsules. The first is the fibrous capsule. The fibrous capsule is a thin membrane which is closely invests the kidney and lines the renal sinus. The perirenal fat or perinephric fat is outside the fibrous capsule. like here would be the, which is adherent fibrous capsule. Outside would be the perirenal fat. Perineal fat, this is a layer of adipose tissue. Outside the perineal fat is the renal fascia. Renal fascia. The renal fascia is a dense fibrous tissue, and it anchors to the surrounding structures to keep the kidney retroperitoneal. It helps in anchoring the kidney to the related structures and keeps it retroperitoneal. Outside the fibrous capsule is the perirenal fat. Outside the perirenal fat is the renal fascia, and outside the renal fascia is pararenal or paranephric fat. Pararenal or paranephric fat. So this is more abundant posteriorly and towards the lower pole of the kidney. It provides cushion for the kidney. Then external features are done. Now internal features, if you cut the cross section of the kidney and you see the internal features of the kidney, you see there is the cortex. There is the cortex. The cortex is the, this is the cortex. The cortex, if you cut the coronal section, the outer darker area is known as the cortex. This middle area is known as the renal medulla. The renal medulla is composed of pyramids. These triangular structures are pyramids. The pyramids, the lower portion of these pyramids, this is known as renal papillae. The renal papillae opens into the minor calyx. This pink structure is the minor calyx. The minor calyx unite together to form the major calyx. The major calyx forms the pelvis, and the pelvis forms the ureter. So all this urine enters from the papillae into the minor calyx, from the minor calyx into the major calyx, from there into the pelvis, from there into the ureter, and outside of the kidney. So the internal structure of the kidney includes the renal cortex, which is the outer area, the renal medulla, which is the inner area, and this is the renal sinus. This area is the renal sinus, which contains all the arteries, branches of the arteries, veins, minor calyx, major calyx, etc. This is the renal sinus within the kidney. So this is the internal structure of the kidney. Then vascular segment. The kidney is composed of some segments through which the arteries, etc., they divide, redivide, and transmits blood to the kidney. They transmit blood to the kidney. So this is the apical, posterior, lower, upper, and the middle area, or the segment apical, upper, middle, posterior, and the lower segment, in which the renal artery divides to form the segmental arteries. So if you see the blood supply of the kidney, abdominal aorta gives renal artery gives 5 segmental arteries. Each segmental artery divides into lobar into interlobar into arcuate into interlobular, and then into the glomerulus. Now if you see in the diagram, this is the renal artery. It divides into segmental arteries. Segmental artery divides into the interlobar artery. Interlobar artery divides into arcuate artery above each pyramid. And arcuate artery divides into smaller branches, which is known as interlobular artery, and interlobular artery into the glomerulus. So this is the blood supply of the kidney. As far as venous supply is related, all the veins unite together to form the renal vein, and the renal vein transmits all the deoxygenated blood into the inferior vena cava. So this is the blood supply of the kidney. Now if the clinical anatomy, we see the clinical anatomy of the kidney. In surgical exposure of the kidney, when sometimes the 12th rib is resected for easier delivery of the kidney, danger of opening the pleural cavity must be borne in mind. So the kidney lies under the cover of the 11th and the 12th rib. So sometimes if you want to reach the kidney, you resect the 12th rib, then this can also open the pleural cavity, which is a dangerous sign. Next, there are other disorders which occur in the kidney. First is the renal stone. The renal stone are the hard deposits made of minerals and salts that forms inside your kidney. The renal cyst, these are the sac of fluid which forms in the kidney. Small sacs which are water kind of fluid is filled in them. They form in the kidney. Actually it is symptomless, but if many cyst occurs in the kidney, this is known as polycystic disorder, and which hampers the normal functioning of the kidney. Then nephritis, the nephrons becomes inflamed. Nephrons are the functional unit of the kidney. They become inflamed. Pyelonephritis is the inflammation of the kidney due to some specific bacteria. Some gram-negative bacteria causes pyelonephritis like Klebsiella, etc. Tuberculosis can occur in the kidney, and tumors can also occur in the kidney. Some congenital disorders are there: bifid pelvis, bifid ureter, horseshoe-shaped kidney, and ectopic kidney. I'll show you the diagram of all these disorders. This is the bifid pelvis. The pelvis can divide into two. The ureter, bifid ureter, can divide into two. This is the horseshoe-shaped kidney, in which the lower pole of the kidney is fused together to give a horseshoe shape. Ectopic kidney. Ectopic means when the organ is situated in an area, in an abnormal area. Like the kidneys are situated on either side of the vertebral column, but in this case, in ectopic pregnancy, it is in the pelvis. Then stones. This is the stone in the minor calyx, stone in the major calyx. This is a staghorn stone in the minor and the major calyx, and sometimes the stone can get loose and reach the pelvis. So all these can cause pain in the kidney. I hope you all have understood the kidney. For any queries, you can call me on my number 7830 624 643. Thank you.